You are the original design. You are not a carbon copy of anybody else, not a reflection of somebody's success story, not a remix of another person's dream. You are one of one. You were designed differently, created with a specific purpose that no one else on this earth can fulfill. When you understand that, you stop living life through the lens of comparison and start living life through the lens of conviction. Too many people spend their entire lives trying to imitate someone else's greatness instead of unlocking their own. They see someone winning, and they try to become that person instead of realizing that their own design already carries everything they need to win. You got to stop chasing what someone else has and start cultivating what's already inside you. You got gifts that you haven't even unwrapped yet. You've got potential that's been buried under fear, doubt, and comparison. The moment you start measuring yourself against somebody else, you start losing your authenticity. You lose the very essence that makes you powerful. The blueprint isn't meant to look like anyone else's. It's meant to be distinct, personal, and divine. Every flaw, every strength, every experience, it all plays a role in shaping who you are supposed to become. You can't be afraid of standing out because that's the point. You weren't made to fit in. You weren't made to follow a pattern. You were made to be the pattern. When you look at successful people, what you're really seeing is someone who embraced their design. They stopped apologizing for being. They stopped trying to adjust their identity just to make people comfortable. They own who they were, the good, the bad, the misunderstood. That's what made them powerful. Think about it. Every legend you know broke the mold. They refused to conform. They didn't let fear or doubt or other people's opinions rewrite their blueprint. You can't create something new while copying something old. The greatest breakthroughs come when you stop looking outward for permission and start looking inward for direction. You were born with everything you need. You got ideas that no one else could think of because no one else carries your perspective. You got a combination of experiences, pain, victories, and lessons that were handpicked for you. That's your edge. That's your blueprint. But here's the thing, you'll never tap into it if you keep comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You'll never see your worth if you keep trying to measure it with someone else's ruler. It's time to understand that your story, no matter how messy it looks right now, is a masterpiece in progress. Every chapter, even the painful ones, is part of the design. Sometimes God hides your success until you're ready to carry it. He hides your voice until you have something real to say. And while you're watching other people shine, he's building something deeper inside you. Resilience, character, patience, discipline. You're being shaped, not punished. You're being prepared, not forgotten. The blueprint has to be tested before it's trusted. You can't build something strong without going through pressure. And you can't become the original design without being refined by struggle. Stop trying to skip the process. Stop trying to avoid the season that's shaping you. Every hardship you face, every disappointment, every door that closed, it's all part of your design. The reason it hurts is because you're growing into something greater. The reason it's uncomfortable is because you're expanding beyond where you've been. You are evolving into your true form, and evolution is never easy. But once you embrace it, once you stop fighting it, you'll start to see that you already have everything you need to become who you were destined to be. You have to start speaking differently about yourself. You have to stop saying, "Now I wish I was like them," and start saying, "I am who I'm supposed to be." You got to start walking with confidence, not arrogance, knowing that your design is divine. When you walk in your uniqueness, you give permission for others to walk in theirs. When you stop hiding, when you stop pretending, you become a mirror for someone else to see what's possible. People are watching you, not to see if you're perfect, but to see if you're real. Nope. They're watching how you handle your setbacks, how you rise after falling, how you keep believing when it doesn't make sense. That's what makes you the blueprint. You can't be afraid to fail. Failing doesn't make you less valuable. It refines your design. Every time you fall and get back up, your story gets stronger. Every scar becomes a symbol of strength. Every mistake becomes a message. You are not broken. You are being built. You are not disqualified. You are being developed. Lead even when no one believes. That's what separates the average from the extraordinary. The talkers from the doers, the dreamers from the builder. Anybody can lead when the crowd is cheering, when everyone supports you, when people clap for your ideas. But real leadership is when you keep walking even when the room goes silent, when no one claps, when everyone questions you, when you're standing alone. It's easy to believe when everyone else does. But true strength shows up when it's just you, your vision, and your faith. You gotta be willing to move before anyone else sees it, because that's what pioneers do. They walk through the darkness before the light shows up. Every leader who ever changed the world started as someone nobody believed in. They were laughed at, ignored, doubted, and misunderstood. People couldn't see what they saw, but that's the thing. They weren't supposed to. Your vision wasn't given to them. It was given to you. You were trusted with a dream that only your eyes can see and your heart can carry. So when people tell you you're crazy, when they tell you it won't work, when they tell you to be realistic, smile. Because that means you're walking in uncharted territory. You're doing something that hasn't been done before. Leading when no one believes requires courage that most people never tap into. It means making moves without applause, making progress without validation, and staying consistent when the world doubts your direction. Sometimes you'll be questioned by the very people you thought would support you. Sometimes your family won't understand your drive. Sometimes your friends will call you obsessed or say you've changed. But here's the truth. You have changed. You've grown, you've awakened, and you've realized that playing small doesn't inspire anyone. You can't wait for people to believe in you before you move. You have to believe so deeply in your purpose that their disbelief doesn't shake your direction. The most dangerous thing you can do is wait for approval. Waiting for people to co-sign your dream is how dreams die. Nobody is going to feel your passion the way you do. Nobody's going to understand the fire that burns inside of you because it's not their fire, it's yours. Leadership means walking by faith, not by confirmation. You have to trust the process even when it doesn't make sense. You have to trust your preparation even when results haven't shown up yet. You have to trust your grind even when no one is watching. Because the day will come when the same people who doubted you will be the ones quoting you, following you, and learning from you. Think about the greats, the innovators, the visionaries, the world changers. When they started, people said they were foolish. When they failed, people said, I told you so. But they didn't stop, they didn't fold, they kept leading when no one believed. That's how you build something real, by staying committed when there's no crowd, no spotlight, no recognition. It's the silent seasons that define the strongest leaders. When it's just you and the grind, that's when character is built. That's when you discover what you're truly made of. Sometimes leadership will feel lonely. You'll wake up and wonder if it's even worth it. You'll question your path, your timing, your decision. You'll see others moving faster and think maybe you're doing something wrong. But don't be fooled by the noise. Just because people don't see your progress doesn't mean you're not growing. Some of the most powerful transformations happen underground, in silence where no one can see it yet. A seed doesn't get validation before it grows. It just stays planted, trusting that its time will come. That's how you have to lead, quietly confident, knowing that your season of recognition will come when your roots are ready. When no one believes in you, that's when you must double down on your discipline. You've got to show up every single day like someone is watching. You got to work like your dream is dependent on it, because it is. Leadership isn't about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about honoring the vision that was placed inside of you. Every sacrifice you make, every late night, every early morning, every lonely hour, it all adds up. It's not wasted. It's building something in you that can't be taught. Resilience, patience, and relentless focus. There will be moments when you want to quit, when it feels like the weight of doubt is too heavy, when the silence becomes too loud. That's the moment that defines your future. Because if you can push through that, if you can keep walking when no one believes, you'll reach a point where faith turns into evidence. You'll see doors open that weren't supposed to. You'll see opportunities that seemed impossible. And then, suddenly, everyone will act like they believed all along. Turn pain into purpose. That's what separates those who simply survive from those who rise and inspire. Everybody goes through pain, disappointment, betrayal, failure, loss, rejection, but not everybody transforms it into fuel. Most people run from it, hide from it, or let it define them. But the truth is, your pain was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to develop you. Pain is not a punishment, it's preparation. is life's way of pushing you toward your purpose. You don't grow in comfort. You grow when you're challenged, when you're stretched, when you're broken, and still find a way to stand back up. Every scar tells a story. Every tear you've cried is a seed planted in the soil of your destiny. The problem is too many people spend their lives avoiding the very thing that could make them great. They want success without sacrifice, growth without struggle, and purpose without pain. But you can't have it both ways. You can't ask to be strong and then run from the weight that builds strength. You can't pray for greatness and then avoid the grind that creates it. The truth is, pain introduces you to the version of yourself you didn't know existed. The stronger, wiser, more resilient version. When you face pain, you have two choices. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. You can let it become the reason you quit, or you can let it become the reason you rise. The people who change the world are the ones who took their deepest wounds and turned them into weapons for growth. They use rejection as redirection. They use heartbreak as motivation. They use failure as education. Every setback became a setup for something greater because they refused to waste their suffering. Pain taught them what comfort never could. Think about it. Diamonds are created under pressure. Gold is purified through fire, and muscles grow through resistance. You can't become valuable without pressure, pure without fire, or strong without struggle. Your pain has a purpose. It's shaping you for something you can't yet see. The same situations that made you cry today will make you strong tomorrow. The people who walked out on you were part of your pruning, not your punishment. The failures you thought were the end were actually the beginning of your breakthrough. You just have to shift your perspective, stop asking why me, and start asking what is this trying to teach me? When life hurts, don't just sit in pain. Study it. Every pain carries a message. Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's teaching you humility. Maybe it's teaching you to depend less on people and more on God. Maybe it's showing you what you truly value. But if you ignore the lesson, you'll keep repeating the pain. You can't heal what you refuse to face. You can't grow from what you keep running from. The moment you decide to confront your pain, that's the moment it starts working for you instead of against you. Some of the most powerful people you admire didn't get there because life was easy. They got there because life was hard. They turned their pain into a platform. They let their wounds speak. They didn't hide what broke them. They used it to build others. And that's what you got to do. Your story, your struggle, your scars, they're not just for you. Someone out there needs to see that you made it through so they can believe they can too. Your pain becomes your purpose when you decide it's not going to end with you, but start through you. But let's be real. Transforming pain into purpose doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes healing. It takes faith. You'll have moments where you question if it was worth it, moments where the hurt feels heavier than the hope. But those are the moments that build you. Those are the moments where you discover what faith really means. Believing when you can't see, trusting when you can't understand, moving forward when everything in you wants to stop. It's in those dark places that purpose is born. You have to stop seeing your pain as the enemy. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to refine you. Every struggle is carving you into something stronger. Every trial is training you for your testimony. You might not like the process, but one day you'll thank it. One day you'll look back and realize that the pain you hated was the reason you found your power. You'll see that every closed door protected you, every heartbreak redirected you, and every failure prepared you. Purpose doesn't come from perfection. It comes from persistence. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about allowing pain to push you toward the person you were meant to become. When you decide to turn pain into purpose, you take control. You stop being the victim and start being the victor. You stop saying, this happened to me, and start saying, this happened for me. You stop blaming life and start building with what life gave you. Stay authentic. That's one of the hardest things to do in a world that constantly tries to shape you into something else. Everywhere you look, there's pressure to fit in, to conform, to please people, to be what they expect instead of who you really are. But if you lose your authenticity, you lose your power. You lose the very thing that makes you valuable. The world doesn't need more copies. It needs more originals. It needs people bold enough to show up as their true selves, even when it's unpopular, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it costs them something. Real power doesn't come from pretending. It comes from being. Authenticity isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. It's about embracing your flaws, your story, your truth, everything that makes you who you are. Too many people spend their lives performing instead of living. They wear masks because they think the world won't accept them as they are. They hide their pain, their dreams, their opinions, their voice, all to be accepted by people who don't even know their worth. But here's the thing, the moment you start pretending, you start disconnecting from your purpose. You can't walk in your calling while trying to be someone else. You can't fulfill your destiny with someone else's identity. Being authentic takes courage. It takes strength to stand up and say, this is me. Take it or leave it. It takes maturity to understand that not everyone will understand your journey. And that's okay. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to inspire the right ones. Some people won't like your confidence because it reminds them of their own insecurity. Some won't support your dream because it exposes their own lack of faith. But that's not your problem. That's not your problem. You can't let other people's opinions dilute your authenticity. You have to keep showing up as yourself every single day, no matter how uncomfortable it gets. Authenticity means refusing to shrink to make others comfortable. You can't keep dimming your light because someone else is afraid to shine. You weren't created to blend in. You were created to stand out. Your uniqueness is your advantage, not your weakness. The very things that make you different are the things that make you powerful. The world may not understand you at first, but that's because you're not supposed to fit into the box. You're supposed to build your own. You're supposed to redefine what's possible by being fully, unapologetically you. There's freedom in authenticity. When you stop pretending, you stop carrying the weight of performance. You stop living for approval. You stop needing validation. You start living for purpose, not praise. And that's when you start to feel alive. Because deep down, you were never meant to live someone else's version success. You were meant to live your own truth. You can't chase peace and wear a mask at the same time. You can't grow while pretending. The more you try to fit in, the more you lose yourself. But the moment you choose to be authentic, you begin to attract what's truly meant for you. The right people, the right opportunities, the right purpose. Being authentic doesn't mean everyone will like you. It doesn't mean life will get easier. In fact, sometimes it gets harder. Because authenticity exposes people. It challenges their comfort. When you walk in truth, you make lives uncomfortable. When you walk in confidence, you make the insecure uneasy. But that's not your battle. You weren't born to be liked, you were born to be legendary. You weren't created to fit in. You were designed to create change. The people who belong in your life will value your authenticity. The ones who don't were never meant to stay. And let's be real, authenticity isn't always glamorous. It's messy, it's raw, it's vulnerable. It means admitting when you don't have it all together. It means being honest about your failures, your fear, and your flaws. But it's in that honesty that people connect with you. It's your realness that inspires, not your perfection. People are tired of fake smiles and filled lives. They're searching for something real, someone real. And you can be that if you stop pretending. Your authenticity is what makes your story powerful, and what makes your voice matter. There will be moments when being authentic costs you something. Opportunities, relationships, comfort. But what you gain in return is priceless. Peace. When you're real, you sleep better at night, you walk lighter. You move with confidence. Because there's no more pretending, no more hiding, no more performing. You're free. And when you're free, you're powerful. Because authenticity unlocks clarity. When you're honest about who you are, you can finally see what belongs to you. You stop chasing what's not meant for you, and you start building what is. You start building what is. Authenticity also breeds influence. People follow those who are perfect. Inspired through action. That's where true leadership lives. Not in speeches, not in social media posts, and not in empty motivation, but in what you do every single day when no one is watching. Words can move people for a moment, but actions can move them for a lifetime. The problem with too many people is they talk too much and do too little. They want to be respected before they've earned. They want people to follow them before they build something worth following. But the truth is, your actions will always speak louder than your words. You don't have to announce your greatness. You prove it by how you live. When you show up early, stay late, and give your best effort every time. People notice. They may not say it out loud, but they see it. When you stay disciplined, even when it's hard, people feel the energy. You inspire people not by what you promise, but by what you practice. You become the example they look to when their motivation fades. That's what leadership really is. Being a walking, breathing example of consistency and commitment. Because anyone can talk about success, but few can live it when it gets difficult. Inspiration doesn't come from perfection, it comes from persistence. It's not about having all the answers, it's about showing that you're willing to keep going even when you don't. When people see you fall and get back up, when they see you face failure and keep grinding, they see something real. They see strength, they see resilience. That's what touches hearts. Not a perfect image, but an authentic one. Every time you get up and push forward, despite pain or disappointment, you're giving someone else permission to do the same. Your struggle becomes their survival guide. Your effort becomes their encouragement. The most powerful leaders are the ones who let their work do the talking. They don't need to brag or convince anyone. Their results speak for themselves. You know why? Because excellence is undeniable. You can't fake consistency. You can't fake passion. You can't fake grind. When you show up every day with purpose and humility, people feel it. It's contagious. It makes them want to rise higher. That's the kind of inspiration that lasts. The kind that's backed by action. Sometimes you'll wonder if what you're doing even matters. You'll question if anyone notices your effort, if your sacrifices are worth it. But don't stop. Because even if you don't see it now, someone is watching. Someone is learning how to keep going by watching you not quit. You don't even know whose life you're touching just by being consistent. Your faithfulness might be the reason someone else doesn't give up. That's why your actions matter. You never know who's dependent on your example. Action is louder than emotion. There will be days when you don't feel like working, when you're tired, when the results don't show up as fast as you hoped. But that's when action counts most. Motivation fades, but discipline stays. When you act even when you don't feel like it, you separate yourself from the crowd. That's when your actions inspire, when they come from discipline, not from comfort. People aren't inspired by those who only work when it's easy. They're inspired by those who stay consistent when it's hard. You've got to stop waiting for the right moment. Stop waiting for everything to line up perfectly. The right time to move is now. Every step you take, no matter how small, sends a message that you're serious about your dream, that you're committed to growth, that you won't quit halfway. When people see that kind of focus, they start believing that maybe they can do it too. You give hope through your hustle. You give belief through your example. You don't have to talk about it, just live it. There's something powerful about quiet dedication. When you're not broadcasting every move, when you're not chasing attention, when you're simply locked in on your mission, people can feel that energy. They respect it because it's rare. In a world full of talkers, the doer always stands out. You inspire people not by being loud, but by being consistent. Every time you show up with purpose, you're building credibility. Every time you follow through, you're building trust. That's how legacies are built. Not through what you say, but through what you sustain. Your actions are the proof of your belief. You can tell the world you have faith, but faith without work is empty. You can talk about your dream all day, but until you start putting in the work, it's just talk. Inspiration isn't about hype, it's about habit. It's about doing the right thing over and over again until it becomes who you are. Because the truth is, you teach people more about what you do than by what you say. Kids don't follow lectures, they follow examples. Teams don't follow talkers, they follow workers. You want to change the world? Start with your actions.